Okay, good evening, children. We have Neet paper 2021 analysis we have. So, from Zoology, questions we are discussing. First question is here we have question number 103. Which of the following is a correct sequence of steps in a PCR? PCR reaction is studied. Biotechnology question it is. So, first option denaturation, annealing, extension. Okay, that is our correct answer. We don't want to check, the other questions. We'll go with our option 1. So, question number 103, answer it is option 1. Next question, it is again from biotechnology chapter. Question number 107, here DNA strands on a gel stained with ethidium bromide. Question is about agarose gel electrophoresis. When viewed under UV radiation appear as. So, color of DNA bands when we add ethidium bromide, answer it is supposed to be bright orange band. Okay, bright orange band we will take it as. So, option 2 it is. Again from biotechnology it is. Then, in spite of interspecific competition in nature, which mechanism the competing species might have evolved for their survival as an alternative method? Okay, as an alternative technique for interspecific competition, what it might have evolved by organisms? That's the question. So, we'll go with option 1, resource partitioning. Okay, as an alternative technique for competition, thereby exclusion. So, answer it is supposed to be 1, resource partitioning. This question it is from organism and population chapter. So, already we expected number of questions from this chapter. Next one, the amount of nutrients such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and calcium present in soil at a given time is referred to as. So, the total amount of nutrients present in soil at a time we'll call standing state. Our answer it is 3. This question is from ecosystem chapter, ecology based question it is. Children, again we have a question from organism and population chapter. Question is this amensalism. Every year they ask a question from this particular topic. Amensalism can be represented as species A that will be getting harmed, whereas the other one will be getting neutral effect. So, we'll go with option 1. Direct question it is. Next one, which one of the following is not an application of PCR? Again from biotechnology. So, maximum weightage it is there for biotechnology chapters this year. So, which of the following is not an application of PCR? Molecular diagnosis we can, gene amplification we can, detection of mutation also we can, but 3, purification of isolated protein. That we don't want. So, we'll go with option 3. Next one, during the purification process for recombinant DNA technology, addition of chilled ethanol, again from biotechnology, same chapter, we have RNA, DNA, histones and polysaccharides. Children, will go with the option 2, DNA. For the precipitation of DNA, we are adding chilled ethanol. So, the answer is supposed to be 2. Next one, in the equation GPP minus R, okay, we have NPP will get R represents. This question is from ecosystem chapter. Here R which represents respiration loss. Next, which of the following statements is not correct? Incorrect statement we want with regards to pyramid, ecological pyramid. So, answer it is 2. Pyramid of biomass in C is generally upright. Okay, pyramid of biomass in C is generally inverted. In that way we have studied it. So, we'll go with the 2. First one it is correct. Then pyramid of energy is always upright, correct. Fourth one, pyramid of numbers in a grassland ecosystem is upright. True it is. So, answer it is 2. Next, when gene targeting, this question you have to read very slowly, then only you can find out its answer, because 2 options you will be confused. So, in gene targeting, okay, involving gene amplification, we are targeting a gene. In that process, in that procedure, amplification of gene which involves, that means PCR which comes, right? Then is attempted in an individual's tissue to treat a disease. To treat a disease, we are going for a test. In that test, we are checking what DNA from a tissue, from a cell. That time we are going for what? Gene amplification. That they have specified. Because of that PCR, we will connect it with children. In that sense, our answer is supposed to be 3, molecular diagnosis. We have a tendency to take that gene therapy because treatment of disease they are telling. But at first, they have specified what gene amplification. Later only, they are talking about the treatment of disease. So better answer it is PCR in connection with molecular diagnosis. Next one, which of the following statements is correct? So here, this question it is from the fungi topic. Biological classification will take fusion of protoplasms between two motile or non-motile gametes is called plasmogamy. Correct statement it has been asked before. Others are wrong. Okay. First one, fusion of two cells. That is not karyogamy. Nuclear fusion is karyogamy. Organisms that depend on living plants are called saprophytes. That's wrong. Saprophytes, they feed on dead organic matter. Some of the organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocysts. So we'll go with option 2. Then we have again a question from organism population chapter. That equation you are familiar with, exponential growth equation. In that, E which represents, everybody knows, the base of natural logarithm. Nowadays, the next question it is possible to detect the mutated gene causing cancer by allowing radioactive probe to hybridize its complementary DNA in a clone of cells, followed by photoradiography. Because the same textbook statement it is, mutated gene does not appear on a photographic film as the probe has no complementarity with it. Why? Because that probe you designed complementary to a normal gene. If you have a mutation in it, probe can't bind with it. Our answer it is supposed to be 3. Next, 146 question number, again from biotechnology first chapter, plasmid PBR 322. So here PST1 site. Okay, by using PST1, we are going to make a cut on ampicillin resistant gene where we will insert beta galactosidase gene. The enzyme, beta galactosidase, you are familiar. This gene will be inserted there on ampicillin resistant gene on PBR 322. So what would happen? That's the question. So definitely you just take the transformed cells will have the ability to resist ampicillin as well as produce beta galactosidase. We can't take. It will lead to lysis of host cell. We can't. It will be able to produce a novel nothing. Our answer is supposed to be 1. It will not be able to confer ampicillin resistance to the host cell. Why? The gene got silenced. Hereafter, ampicillin resistance won't be there. Next one. It is from botany topic. In the sense, chapter it is molecular inheritance, but we have discussed in zoology class. So DNA fingerprinting involves identifying differences in some specific regions in DNA sequence called as. Children, you may go with some number of answers here, but what textbook it is telling you have to stick on. Textbook it is telling answer 2. Repetitive DNA you can see there in textbook. Maybe you may take a satellite DNA or polymorphic DNA, but we have to stick on to textbook. Textbook it is telling repetitive DNA. Next one. Which of the following statements wrongly represents the nature of smooth muscle? Okay, option 3 we will take, because intercalated disc you can see with cardiac muscle. Answer it is option 3. With regards to insulin, okay, insulin of course biotechnology second chapter. So with regards to insulin, choose correct option. Correct statements we have to find out. Short, C-peptide won't be there in matured insulin. The insulin produced by rDNA technology has C-peptide. Wrong. Eli Lilly company's technique you studied. The pro-insulin has C-peptide. Correct. A-peptide and B-peptide are interconnected by disulfide linkage. Correct. So A, C, D. A, C, D are correct. We'll go with option 3. Next one. Venereal diseases can spread through. What are the different means for the transmission of venereal disease or sexually transmitted diseases? Using sterile needles we won't get. Transfusion of blood. There is a chance from infected mother to child or fetus. So B and C, our answer is supposed to be 3. Select the favorable conditions required for the formation of oxyhemoglobin at the alveoli, where you can see oxyhemoglobin formation, where high PO2, low PCO2, less H plus ions, lower temperature. Our answer is supposed to be 1. Next, we have a question from our animal kingdom chapter. Number of animals you can see one side, the other side, we have some characteristic features or designations. Physalia, Portuguese man of war, you will call. Limulus, it is living fossil. Ankylostoma, hookworm. Pinctada, pearl oyster. So answer A2. Okay, we have B3, C4, and D1. Our answer is supposed to be 3. Next one. Tincture of OD, direct question it is, that you can see in between hepatopancreatic duct and duodenum. Answer it is 2. Erythropoietin hormone, it is from chemical coordination chapter, which stimulates RBC formation, is produced by, you know it, juxtaglomerular cells of kidney. Which of the following organisms bear hollow and pneumatic long bones? So it's a characteristic feature of birds, adaptation of birds. In this list, the only bird is neophron. Which one? Which one of the following belongs to the family Muscidae? From Living World chapter, housefly, there in textbook. Read the following statements. Metagenesis is observed in helminthes. Wrong. Echinoderms are triploblastic. True. Coelomate. So correct statement. Roundworms have organ system level of organization. True. Comb plates are for locomotion, not for digestion. Water vascular system is present in echinoderms. So B, C, and E are correct. B, C, and E are correct. Answer it is 4. Next one, for effective treatment of the disease, early diagnosis and understanding its pathophysiology is very important. Which of the following molecular diagnostic techniques is very useful for early detection? The specifically, asked for diagnostic technique. So, according to textbook, we'll take ELISA. Blotting is a confirmatory test. Then southern blotting, it is for fingerprinting we have seen. Receptors for sperm binding in mammals are present on zona pellucida. Sperm binding proteins, will call them as, actually during the time of cortical reaction they will be lysed. So answer it is supposed to be 4. Again, all the changes, right? All the changes we are making on zona pellucida, fertilization membrane we call. Chronic autoimmune disorder they specify. So it must be, it must be myasthenia gravis. Okay. Autoimmune disorder, they specified then symptoms or some what we call disorders in association with it. You can read it, of course. Which one of the following is an example for hormone releasing a unit? 2, LNG20. Then again from reproductive health chapter, a match the following type question. We have vault, so that it prevents entry of sperm through cervix. IUD, it is nothing but phagocytosis of sperms will be permitted. Vasectomy, it is for removal of vas deferens. Tubectomy, it is removal of fallopian tube. Children will go with answer 2.
Let me go through the questions. The second section of the zoology, that we start from 172. Clear? 172. 171 that I finished in first session. It is 172. 172. Next, list 1 with the list 2. Metamerism. That it is annelida. Metamerism. Annelida. Body surface is distinctly marked into metameres. So, metamerism or metameric segmentation. The best option from the second column, it is annelida. Canal system, water transport system of porifera. Next item is best option from the second column is porifera. Complex belongs to enophora. Rows of external ciliated plates called complex, which help in locomotion. So that is enophora. Nidoblast or nidocyte, the stinging cell in nidoria. That is nidoria. So the option for 172, clear? 172, option 3 is correct. Third option is correct. Third option, tick. Option 3. For 172, option 3, correct. Option 3. When 173, yes. 173, no. That is so from botany session. 174. During the process of gene amplification, using PCR, if very high temperature is not maintained in the beginning, then which of the following steps of PCR will be affected first? You know that involves denaturation, annealing, and extension. Three processes in this PCR, where we know that highest temperature for denaturation, that you know it is 94 degrees Celsius. Then what extension, last process, then annealing 74. So highest temperature required for denaturation. If that highest temperature is not given, denaturation affected. So our answer is that third one, denaturation. Right? Question 75, that is a botany session. Question 76. Which enzyme is responsible for conversion of inactive fibrinogen into fibrin? You know that it is thrombin. A option is correct. That is thrombin because it is present as prothrombin. Because we have studied factors for blood coagulation are present in their inactive state in plasma. So prothrombin present in plasma should be converted into thrombin for what? Fibrinogen to fibrin conversion. So it is thrombin. The first option is correct for question 176. It is not renin, not connected. Renin is kidney enzyme, not connected with the blood coagulation. Epinephrine is adrenaline, not connected with the blood coagulation. Thrombokinase, that is enzyme. Clear? Not for what? For fibrinogen fibrin conversion. That is why thrombin. 176 is over. Then next 180. Next question. 177 botany. No, 177 is there. Right. 177. Succocentricus is referred to as, you know that it is an enzymatic juice in the intestine. Succocentricus produced by crux of lubricant. It's a gland in the intestine, crux of lubricant, that produces succocentricus. Succocentricus is referred to as intestinal juice. Highly enzymatic juice which contains nucleotidase, nucleoside, sucrase, lactase. Right? Enzymes are present in succocentricus. That is called intestinal juice, not pancreatic juice that produced by pancreas. Gastric juice that is in stomach. That you know, the gastric content ejected into the duodenum, that is called the chyme. So the best option for question 177, it is intestinal juice, that is intestinal juice. 178, no, that is a botany. 179, then 180. Persons with AB blood group are called as universal recipient. This is true too. You know that AB blood group, there is A antigen and B antigen on surface of RBC. That is said to be AB group, where both antigens on surface of RBC, but usually antibodies are present in plasma. But in case of universal recipient or AB blood group person, no antibodies in plasma. It is universal recipient because no antibody in plasma to interact with the other constituents of the donor. Right? So the reason for universal recipient, absence of antibodies, anti-A and anti-B in plasma. Fourth option is the best answer for the question 180 because it is universal recipient because no antibody in plasma. Anti-A, anti-B antibodies are absent in plasma. That's the right option for 180 question. Your O group is universal donor, where both antigens are absent. So you remember the 180 question, question 180, best option for 181. Specific recognition sequence identified by endonuclease to make cuts at specific position within the DNA. You know that endonuclease and exonuclease is present. They belong to the large class called nucleases, where endonuclease cuts within the DNA, exonuclease at the end of the DNA. So we are talking about endonuclease that cuts the DNA within, where what first of all, restriction endonuclease inspects the length of DNA and it finds a suitable specific, what the specific nucleotide sequence called recognition sequence. You know that what it may cut such specific portion within the DNA. That specific sequence, after inspecting the length of DNA, transcription endonuclease finds the specific nucleotide sequence called palindromic sequence, and it cut both strands of DNA, not at the middle of the palindromic sequence, but little away from the center of the palindromic sequence, but between the same bases of the both strands that we have studied. So it is palindromic nucleotide sequence. What this is, that is given here, that is formation of recombinant DNA, where we know that palindromic sequence present for vector DNA and foreign DNA, where we know that it is cutting the site, not exactly at the center, away from the center, but between two bases. This is called palindromic nucleotide sequence. Palindrome, that we have studied. So it is 3 option. Option 3 correct. Question 182. Which of the following characteristic is incorrect with respect to cockroach? All others are correct. Only one statement is incorrect. First option is incorrect because ring of gastric cicae. Gastric cica refers hepatic cica, a digestive gland which secretes digestive juice. That's called a hepatic cica or gastric cicae is present at the junction of midgut and hindgut. That is wrong. At the junction of foregut and midgut. That is the best the answer. But here it is given as wrong. The first option is wrong. You have to select the first one as the incorrect option because gastric cicae or hepatic cicae is situated exactly between foregut and midgut. You know that it is 6 to 8 blind tubules called gastric cicae, hepatic cicae, capable of secreting digestive juice. So it is exactly between foregut and midgut. The correct option, which is incorrect, correct option, which is an incorrect statement, that is statement 1. So you have to put 1 as answer for question 182. Then 185. Next question, 185. The partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide at alveoli means site of diffusion. You have diagram in your textbook. Yeah, we have given in our material. That is what I have explained in the class. Where alveolar partial pressure of oxygen 104 and that of carbon dioxide 40. It is satisfied in alveoli for formation of oxyhemoglobin, means oxygen plus hemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin formation occurs in alveoli where oxygen partial pressure 108 and that of carbon dioxide 40. The option, correct option for question 185, it is 1. First option where PO2 104, PCO2 40. This is the box. Correct answer is there in your textbook. Yeah. So first option is correct for question 185. 185. Then question 187. Next question 187. Which of the following secretes a hormone? Relaxin. During the later phase of pregnancy, in your textbook, relaxin produced by ovary. It can be produced by placenta. At the end of pregnancy, it is secreted by ovary. But you remember, ovary has corpus luteum. Indirect options are given, not by Graafian follicle. You know that in pregnancy, there is no Graafian follicle in ovary. No follicular maturation in ovary during pregnancy. So no chance at all for Graafian follicle be there to secrete relaxin. So first option is totally wrong. Second option, you take the third option, fetus. Fetus is not secreting relaxin. That's a maternal hormone. So again, uterus is not secreting hormone. It is ovary. In textbook, it is ovary. So you have to think about ovary. What is present in ovary to secrete relaxin? It is corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is the correct answer for question 187. It is corpus luteum. Second option is correct. 188. During muscular contraction, which of the following events occur? We have studied contraction of skeletal muscle. Muscle contraction. There is diagrammatic representation in the textbook. It is very clear from the textbook, different zones and lines. different dots and lines in the textbook, you are familiar. So you have to select correct option from the following. 1. Exon disappears definitely because sarcomere is unit of muscle contraction where the actin filaments overlap. The myosin filament degree of overlapping increases, stud lines come close together, exon decreases or disappear during strong muscle contraction. So exon decreases or disappears. That is correct option. Hair band widens. No, you know that no widening of hair band. Hair band, length of the hair band remains same. There is no shortening of hair band. Eye band is shortening. So that is wrong option. Is correct. B wrong. Then next C. Eye band reduces in which? Eye band reduces in width. Right. Eye band on either side of the sarcomere. Half eye band present. That reduces because it is overlapping. Degree of overlapping increases. Eye band reduces in width. So A correct. The C correct. Then D, myosin hydrolyzes ATP, releasing the ADP and inorganic phosphate. Right? You know that for muscle contraction, energy is required. How energy is released? By hydrolyzing ATP. You know that myosin head has ATPase enzyme. So myosin head with ATPase hydrolyzes ATP. Energy is released. The ADP plus inorganic phosphate also released. So D statement is correct. So A statement is correct, C correct, D correct. What about last? Stud lines attached to actin are pulled inwards. Again, we have studied stud lines shorten. Stud lines come close together. They are pulled inwards towards the M line. You know that exon is disappearing. Exon is decreasing. So stud lines are close together the M line of hair band. That is again correct. So best option for 188 question, it is A. A option is the correct answer for 188 question. Then next question probably 192. Others are botany questions. 192. Identify types of cell junctions that help to stop the leaking of substances across a tissue and facilitation of communication with neighboring cells via rapid transfer of ions and molecules. Same sentence in the textbook and CRT book. You know that tissues, epithelial tissue, 3 types of cell junction. Small paragraph in textbook as such is or as such is given as question. You know that there is tight junction, adhering junction and gap junction. But you know, adhering junction for cementing the adjacent cells together. Tight junction prevents leakage of substances across the tissue. Gap junction establishes cytoplasmic continuity between adjacent cells so that there is rapid passage of ions, molecules and even some big molecule. So the responsible junctions for the question mentioned, it is tight junction and gap junction. Right? Answer is tight junction and gap junction. Here one junction is not mentioned. That is adhering junction used to cement the adjacent cells together. So most probable, most correct answer among the options, that is second one. That is second one. 192. Question 193. Following are the statements about prostomium of earthworm. Prostomium of earthworm given in the textbook. Yeah, that you can, what may be in Annelida or a earthworm type study is not in the syllabus, but this question may be from Annelid. You listen. Following are the statements about prostomium of earthworm. A. It serves as a covering for mouth. Correct statement. B. It helps to open cracks in the soil to which it can crawl. That again correct. And C. It is one of the sensory structure. Again correct. It is the first body segment, that is peristomium. It is not what prostomium. So A, B and C are correct. The first option is correct for question 193. Question 194. The adenosine deaminase deficiency. We have studied that gene therapy. Gene therapy we have studied. Adenosine deaminase deficiency. Gene therapy connection we have studied in chapter, the question, adenosine deaminase deficiency results into Parkinson's disease, no. Digestive disorder, no. Addison's disease, no. It is dysfunction of the immune system. That is why the reason we are applying gene therapy. We are replacing the defective gene with a correct gene that we have studied. That is the dysfunction of the immune system. The first option is correct for question 194. Question 197. Next question. Match list 1 with list 2. That what? Allen's rule. That is polar seal. We have studied animals in polar region. Obey Allen's rule that we have studied. The second one, physiological adaptation. Kangaroo rat. It never drinks water. It is adapted to or change the body's nature by physiological function of body. Physiological adaptation by kangaroo rat. Behavior adaptation. That is what desert lizard. In the what outside and inside. Lizard is what? Having some behavioral adaptation to survive. That is behavioral. Last, biochemical adaptation. That is marine fish at depth. Biochemical, producing biochemical. So, best option for what? 197 question. Best option for 197 question is third one. Third one. Right? That is 4, 1, 2 and 3. 4, 1, 2 and 3. Right? Question 98. 198. Match list 1 with list 2. Again, question from animal kingdom. You know that number of questions, almost 6 questions from animal kingdom. I have told you during my class, this is a chapter, what higher number of questions will come. Definitely 6 questions from animal kingdom. And 5 questions from biotechnology. Right? So you remember filariasis, Wuchereria bankruptcy means 1, 3. Then amoebiasis, Entomoeba stylitica, B4. Then pneumonia, that is Haemophilus influenzae. We studied in your textbook Streptococcus pneumoniae or Haemophilus influenza. Here last ringworm. That is Trichophyton. Textbook Trichophyton or Microsporum, Epidophyton or Dermatophytes, which cause ringworm infection. So ringworm, Trichophyton. Trichophyton. Best option for question 198. It is option 2. Correct? You know that? Filariasis, Wuchereria bankruptcy, amoebiasis, Entomoeba stylitica, pneumonia, Haemophilus influenzae, ringworm, Trichophyton. Question 199. Next question. Which of these is not an important component of initiation of parturition in human being? Parturition initiation. That means prolactin has no role in initiation of parturition. Others are involved. Increase in estrogen-progesterone ratio. Progesterone falls, estrogen increase. The synthesis of substance called prostaglandin to promote contraction, release of oxytocin. Last option is wrong. No need of prolactin for initiation of parturition. 200. Last question. Match list 1 with list 2. The scapula. Scapula, triangular bone of pectoral girdle. Scapula, triangular bone of pectoral girdle. That triangular flat bone. Cranium, that is fibrous joint present between bones of the cranium. Brain box or cranium. 8 bones present in cranium. They are joined together by fibrous joint or immovable joint. So cranium, that is 3. Then sternum. Sternum, that is 2. Flat bone. Single bond, that is flat bond sternum, to which ribs are connected, clavicle connected. We have studied, it is flat bond. Vertebral column, cartilaginous joint present between adjacent vertebrae. You know that human backbone is composed of 26 ring-like vertebrae. Adjacent vertebrae connected by cartilage, fibrous cartilage. So last is fibrous cartilaginous joint present between adjacent vertebrae. Last question 200. Last option is correct. 196, please. A person goes to high altitude and experiences altitude sickness with symptoms like breathing difficulty, heart palpitation. Exact sentence in the textbook. The reason Due to low atmospheric pressure of high altitude, body does not get sufficient oxygen. So, high altitude sickness, breathing difficulty and heart palpitation. We have studied that high altitude sickness is due to lack of sufficient oxygen. So, assertion correct, reason correct, yeah. And both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. That means it is the reason is correct. High altitude sickness due to deficiency of sufficient oxygen. Right? So 196, first option is correct. So, dear students, all the questions in our subject exactly from NCERT textbook, no questions outside. I think you have done very correctly, and I hope all of you have high marks in my subject, and thank you, right.